Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's your governor here again at it. I want to talk today about women and the right to vote. This past week, someone was celebrating when women got the right to vote and all that. And I want to make a little presentation regarding that matter. It's going to be brief, as I usually say. So, bear with me. Women and the right to vote. I'm not gonna make a joke like I did before in another video, like no more pussy for you. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that today. It's gonna be a serious video. Even though some of that already that I said before has some connection to reality. But I wanna go a little deeper this time. I wanna do something more let's playful. Now, let's start with the fact that the fact that you're a woman does not entitle you to do or to have anything. The reason men had the right to vote from the very beginning is that man was subject to the draft. When you're subject to the draft, let's follow evidence and reason, right? Let's turn off feelings and let's turn all the way up brain. That's what I need. Every time you see any of these presentations, turn off feelings. No feelings here. Turn on the brain like 100%. I need you to do that, especially if you're a lady. So, when men are subject to the draft, you have to go to war and you die and you get blown in pieces and then you lose pieces of your body and you get very let's say you see things that no human being should see ever, and that has a toll, that takes a toll on your well-being and on your capacity to do, you know, to go through life. Now, women were not subject to the draft, and still they got the right to vote. Now, let's go back to men again. When you're subject to the draft, and you're subject to go to war, and you're subject to die, and you're subject to be blown in pieces again, and you're subject to lose your legs and your arms and even your life, and I mean, you, by logic, you get way more involved in the political process, because once again, you don't want to go to war, you don't want to go and die, you don't want to go and get blown to pieces, and you don't want to get all that trauma and that pain and all of these images in your head. You don't want none of that. That is hard, that is bad, it's inconvenient. So you get extremely involved in the political process and you vote in a way that you're always trying to avoid situations that are gonna take you eventually to go to work and be blown and this and that and blah blah blah. I mean, it's the same thing. Now, women never went subject to the draft for obvious reasons. If we get women, you're going to go to war, and we send women to war, and they die. One woman, 10 guys, one baby. 10 women, one guy, 10 babies. If women go to war and women die, no more civilization for you. Out. So for obvious reasons, we as men does not subject women to the draft. Plus, we have no way to enforce this, because the second you say, hey, you're going to war, they're going to fuck someone, they get pregnant, and boom, that's it, they're out. So, I mean, let's be real. Women never got subject to the draft. Women obviously have no intentions or desire to get involved in the political process to avoid war, because they're not subject to it. When wars happen, I said this before in another video, the new conquerors come, they conquer, they kill all the men, they kill all the kids, boys and girls, and they keep the woman. So women don't die. When things get really real, they still get to live. I'm not saying it is a beautiful life, but they don't die. They don't die for sure. So, since they're not subject to the draft, and they don't have to die, and they don't have to, I mean, all the things, they're not connected. They're not fully connected to the political process, and they vote accordingly. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how it works. You cannot show up, I don't know, an airport and say, I am a woman, I want to drive this plane or fly this plane. You have to show that you're qualified to fly the plane, because there is life at stake. Lives. You cannot go and go to the DMV and say, hey, I'm a woman, I want my driver's license so I can drive my car. You have to show that you are able to operate that vehicle. Otherwise, you don't get the driver's license. Imagine driving a country. Hey, I want to drive this country, I want to vote accordingly, and you have no idea how things work. Now, you can see this clearly today. I mean, government is your enemy. I told you that already. Government is an agency of initiation of force. They point guns to your head, and you either comply or you die. Not good. Inconvenient. So they catch on this woman thing, and they are pandering to women. They are feeding them this idea that we have unlimited resources, and we can do anything we want, and we have enough for everybody. And I mean, and that is a lie. We're $30 trillion in debt, and that is founded liabilities. We have unfounded liabilities, which is Social Security, Medicare, and retirement, and pensions. There is no way to fund that. And those are more than $100 trillion. Plus the 30 that you already have. That is unsustainable. And they are still under this impression that resources are infinite. Now, what it is infinite is our desires. Human beings in general, regardless of the gender. Human beings have unlimited desires. I want a Rolls Royce, and I want a private plane, and I want a private jet, and not only one, I want several of them, and I want a house here and this and that, and I want, look, Obama, by the way, just bought a $15 million beachfront house. But the world is ending, and global warming, and the rises, the sea levels, and all that. But he just dropped 15 mil. Beachfront, bitch. I don't understand these people. They are not consistent with what they have to say. But let's don't get out of the topic, the subject. So now governments have been putting this idea to women that we have unlimited resources and this and that, and that is because, look, when you're a woman and you marry a man, you are bound to the resources that man can recoup. Therefore, it is in your best interest as a woman to choose a quality man, a good provider, a good stable provider. You see, it is in your best interest as a woman to do that. Now we have this idea in which woman that is idea, that is of course not real, in which women cannot have a man. They can waste all the sexual market value that they have while they're young, and they make money out of it and all that, hedonism and selfishness and shit. And they can do that, and they don't have to marry, and they are under the impression that because they go in welfare, They don't need a man. Well, let me tell you something, lady. All of those social programs are paid by men. It's a redistribution of wealth program. Any of them. As a lady, you can have, if you pop a baby, first you can get that man in alimony and child support, regardless if that man wanted or not to have that baby. If you wanted it or not, it doesn't matter, because you can go and get an abortion and that man have no say in. A little fair, I would say, to be optimistic. But I guess that's male privilege. You can get that man in child support and alimony, but then let's say that the guy died, I don't know. You can go Section 8 or subsidized housing. You can get health care. You can get food stamps. You can get cash allowances. You can get, you can get so many things, and that for you and the kids. You get tax break, not tax break. At the very end of the year, you get X amount of money per every kid and all that. All that is paid by men. 80 something % of the taxes that I paid in this country, I pay by males. Why males, especially? Because other males from other places, I don't want to say names, because I don't want you distracted from the message. Other places, they are not as prepared. They don't speak the language. They cannot get a high-paying job. They cannot do this. They cannot do that. And they end up either depending on the government, or with a low-paying job, because they are low-skilled workers. That is not good. So yes, white males pay more than 80% of the taxes of this country, which goes to finance abortions and some other programs that disproportionately benefit women, especially single mothers, which is not good. Now the government picked up on this, and now they're saying, well, let's prop up women. Let's give them this idea that they don't need a man, and they don't need this, and they don't need that, and they can go girl, and you can have it all. And then this is counterproductive, because it creates this idea that you can have things. You have unlimited resources, because the government sends you a check every month. You don't have to be good. You can be sleeping around. You can be doing drugs. You can be doing anything. You don't have to be a quality person, and you still get the check every month in the mail. Now, back in the days, how did it work? There wasn't welfare, so obviously you primarily depend on family, friends, and church. Family, friends, and church. In order for you to be dependent upon the help of your family, friends, or church, that was contingent to the fact that you were getting better in whatever the problem you were. If you were drinking, you have to stop drinking. They will provide help, they will provide money, they will provide anything you needed, but you need to quit that thing. If you were a whore, well, no one was a whore around. I mean, no one did throughout history. They were chained and they were shunned, and it was bad. Now it's different. Let's be euphemistic again. But I mean, still, you got friends and family, and maybe you can repent. I'm not a religious person. You can repent, and you can go to church, and church always was merciful. But you have to stop being a whore, you see? If you had a drug problem, okay, good. Hey, I'm done with this. I need help. I want to get better. I want to get out. I want to get a job. I want to provide for myself, and, blah, blah, blah. No problem. Bring it on. Family, friends, and church. They were doing charity. They were doing this. They offer programs based on charity, not based on guns to the head and comply and or die. You see the difference? No guns to the head, out of heart, mercy, charity. That is the kind of society you want to live in. You don't want a society in which guns get pointed to your head, because eventually there is gonna get someone in power that does not align with your interest, and you are the one who's gonna get guns pointed to your head. I don't want that for you, but you're voting for that. And I'm coincidentally in the other side of the gun. I don't want no one pointing guns to your head. Why do you want people pointing guns to my head? I don't want to take nothing from you. Why do you want to take things from me? By force. Because if you want to take something from me, I want to take something from people. I want to take everything from everybody. But you know how? Not by force, but by providing value. I want $1 million? Good. Who got my money? I will look for someone who already has that million, and I will provide value for that person for the value of $1 million. Now, some people are not able to provide that amount of value. Well, good. Learn how to provide it. But never by force. Do not initiate force against your fellow man. This should be your number one principle. Number one. Do not initiate force against your fellow man. Boom, that's it. That's the type of society. That's the kind of society you want to live in. No force. Now, if someone initiates force against you, then you have to respond in kind. Nothing wrong with that. But don't be you the one that initiates it. If it is illegal for me to initiate force against you, it should be illegal for the government to initiate force against me. If it is illegal for me to buy a car and send you the bill, it should be illegal for the government to buy a car or anything else and send me the bill. I hope this is not too crazy or too controversial or too out of touch, because it's not. These basic things, very basic. Woman and vote, again, I kind of got a little carried away. So, ladies, if you want to vote, well, you can vote now. I will strongly encourage you to learn how the political process goes and to vote accordingly. Number one principle is that we have unlimited desires, private planes and yachts and this and that, but we have limited resources. We're $30 trillion in debt. We cannot incur in more debt. The economy is not growing enough because all the chokeholds that these fake capitalists have put in the economy is not growing enough to tax enough people at a smaller rate. So the fewer people that are still productive are being taxed more and more, and still it's not enough. I'd say this in a video already. What they are doing is they are compensating. Whatever they cannot tax, they are printing and they are borrowing. Three of them are bad. Taxing is bad, printing is bad, worse, and borrowing even worse. So, learn these very basic principles and act accordingly. That was a beautiful woman. And act accordingly. Simple as that. And vote. But vote right. Now, what I would advise you, in order for you to get in touch with reality, is that the welfare state have to go. There is no, Social Security, all those schemes have to go. They are not sustainable. We cannot keep indebting and putting in more debt. The unborn, people that hasn't even been born, to finance this old people that are sucking, that are vampires of resources. They have their entire life to create wealth already, to retire comfortable. Why? How? If there is a society who loves children and who loves the future, how can it be that you are enslaving the future, the unborn generations, to some bankster? I thought you cared about kids. Now, if you wasted your life, you did nothing out of it. I mean, it is you. You have to own it. You know what? I drink and I did what I did, and I did all kinds of things, and I didn't save, and I did not invest, I did not do anything, and now I just wasted my life. Well, you own it. But don't cry and ask for money to the government that is going to enslave people that hasn't even born the weakest. All people are not the weak. They should be the stronger or the strongest. They got their entire life. That you have the experience, that you have the knowledge, that you have the money. The unborn. Those are the weak. Those are the ones that you have to be protected. So when they get finally here, they got a chance, they got a shot alive. And not are going to be only slaves to pay for all these vampires of resources. I don't hate the old. I got grandpas. I got responsible grandpas. They had a life. They did what they had to do. They learned the system. They earned the money. And they retired. They're not asking me for money. If anything, I ask them for money, which I don't do. How can it be? How can we invert that pyramid? In which the oldest and the wiser, and then usually the ones that had all their life to accumulate resources are gonna be dependent on the unborn. Not even the young. People that hasn't even been born. How crazy is that? So women start voting for more free things that have to be paid for someone. Someone who maybe is not even born yet. Start asking for more things and get in touch with reality. Get a grip. Get a grip with reality. Got a single mother? Well, I mean, too bad for you. It's gonna be extremely hard on you because reality always catches up and the bill always comes due. Now you can get better. You can learn how to be a good woman, a good quality woman, even though I don't see any good quality decent men crazy to spend resources raising somebody else's kids. But you still might have a chance. Hopefully. But most definitely it's gonna be extremely hard. You don't deserve nothing. You prove that you either are a terrible person and you drove away a perfectly good man, or you have terrible judgment and you choose a cheating man to have kids with. Either or, you cannot download the responsibility of those choices onto other people. I know this sounds hard for you as a mother, as a single mother, as a woman in general, because there is all these things going around that, I don't know, women are victims and men are the bad guys, when men actually are the ones who have created all this beautiful society for you, in which you don't even have to have a man in order to survive. You owe that to men. A little respect, a little love will go a long ways. I'm gonna leave it there. Tomorrow I'm gonna make a video about corporations and money. And I hope to see you there. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.